Okay? Okay.
When you're dragging ass out of bed, the hairs must up on your head. You picture the 20th Maine, and you're happy once again. Fight the battle against being slow with Little Brown Top Row.
The delicious flavor of Little Ground Top, ladies and gentlemen. You know you love it because it's just so good. It's just so good. And why is it so good? Well, it's because it's made by Bantam Roasters. Bantam Roasters is here at 82 Steinway Avenue, and they've teamed up with us, addressing Gettysburg, for you, our Getty's Nerd trademark community. And if you're a coffee lover or you know one, you gotta pick up a bag of Little Ground Top today. Today! It's delicious. Cindy, isn't it delicious?
It is delicious.
We have it in the morning sometimes when we have the time to use the French press. Of course, that requires a little more time, but all the finer things in life do, don't they? Right?
For sure.
And we love the Little Ground Top. Why? Is it what is it that you love the best? Is it the notes of cacao, or is it the wildflowers, or the toasted sugar? Or as I say, the black pepper.
It's all of the above.
You like them all.
Pepper, though.
You don't like the black pepper? No. Do you taste the black pepper?
No.
I do. Just notes of it, though. Not full black pepper, just notes.
Just notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's delicious. Little Ground Top. And you know, I like it with the heavy cream because I don't do the sugar.
Of course.
And it is delightful. The heavy cream really brings out the flavor. I'm not going to lie to you.
That black pepper.
Huh?
It brings
out the black pepper. It brings
There
out the
you go.
notes of cacao, wildflowers, and toasted sugar. Actually, I'm kind of hoping for the notes of toasted sugar, but I haven't picked up on it yet. But that's because my palate is not sophisticated like everybody else in the audience.
Mine certainly is not.
Well, that's a shame. What happened?
You tried Little Ground Top?
Yeah. Have you tried Little Ground Top yet?
I know you don't drink coffee.
Yeah, I don't drink coffee. It doesn't like me.
Have you smelled it? What are you doing?
Trying to fix the microphone.
What, did you break it again?
I don't know.
No, just don't move it. I'll fix it during well, we're not taking a break today. Anyway, Little Ground Top, ladies and gentlemen, you go to addressinggettysburg.com/cafe. That's CAFE, cafe, to order your bags today. Or you can just stop in at Bantam Roasters during your next visit to Gettysburg. You know, by the way, somebody sent, what?
Hopefully they're not out.
Hopefully they'll have it. They told me that it is selling very well. They even said it's selling better than theirs, their coffee. And it is flying off the shelves when it's like on the weekend. Like it just flies off the shelves when it's a busy weekend. Last weekend when it was 90 degrees, they weren't very busy because who wants hot coffee on a 90-degree day? But they have plenty of delicious ice drinks there too, ladies and gentlemen. So you should go there as well. Anyway, Little Ground Top, like I said, it's at addressinggettysburg.com/cafe, or you go into 82 Steinway Avenue here in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Now it's time, ladies and gents, to start the show.
From the Gettysburg Museum of History Studios, high atop Baltimore Street, in a maximum security facility complete with central air, it's AG Today.
Hi, this is Matthew Leach. I played First Sergeant Talbot in Band of Brothers.
Hi, this is licensed battlefield guide Paul Bailey.
Hi, I'm Dale Fetzer.
Hi, I'm John Rothman.
Hi, this is Bo Brinkman.
Hi, this is Anthony Bordner. I'm a huge fan of Addressing Gettysburg. It is the greatest and most quality podcast ever. And you're listening to it right now. God, you're so lucky.
Don't ever go on America Got Talent. You won't make it.
Did you say Abe Lincoln?
Never fight uphill, me boys. Never fight uphill.
Don't give them fuel.
3rd Battalion, 3rd Marine Infantry Regiment.
I could house that load.
You're listening to Addressing Gettysburg
today.
He stood as erect as I am now.
Bullshit.
I will fraternize your business if you have one.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this, God, I don't even know what the word is, crazy episode of Addressing Gettysburg. Today, I am your vainglorious host, Matt. What does vainglorious mean? I don't know, but that's what I am today.
Wow.
And I'll tell you something, Bethany. I am sitting with you as well.
Yes.
You are the co-host of the show, and of course, Cindy is in here with us today because we're doing a short show. And here's why we're doing a short show. The anniversary is coming up, and every year I do anniversary episodes. Typically, the anniversary episodes are me and 2 or 3 guides sitting out on the battlefield, talking about each day in an overview. But we focus on a different action of that day, so it's not always exactly the same, right? And there's a lot of stuff to talk about each day, so you know. But I thought to myself this year around April or March, I said, Self, how many times can people listen to the same format before they get sick of it?
Get it, format.
Format.
Oh, no, I get it.
Are you just muting me right now?
No, she's coming in too low. I'm pulling her off.
I thought you were going to mute me, and I was like, listen.
No.
Yo.
Anyway, so I said, so I got to do something different. I'm getting bored with that, right?
Oh, no.
And also, you know, when I look on the YouTube numbers, actually YouTube and Libsyn, the 157th anniversary episodes are still always like within the top 20 throughout the year. And so that's telling me that the 3 years since then that we did them, nobody cared as much because they kind of got it all out of the way in the 157th. And, you know, what more can you do? Or at least that's what they think. They don't realize that every year we kind of focus on different things. We have different guides. They're all different. So I said, all right, I got to do something different this year. What am I going to do? So I remembered that a couple years ago, I had hired 6 questions Lens to write summaries of each day of the battle for me because someday they might come in handy. Mm-hmm. And I go, oh, today they will come in handy. So on my birthday, Cindy was like, you know, what do you want to do? We'll do anything you want for your birthday. And I was like, I want to work. So we came in here and I said, I need your help. I need your ears. You know, I'm going to read these things and you tell me. And then I quickly realized I need to rewrite them. And it's not because Mike's a terrible writer or anything. It's just because what speaks well when you give a tour, which is how he wrote it, doesn't work for what we did. So I had to and then also they weren't long enough. And so I'm like, all right, now I got freaking work to do. And when was Matmas Day? It was on the 16th and today's the 27th. So 11 days ago is when, and then so in that time I like rewrote, added some stuff, took some stuff out, reworded things, changed verb tense and all that stuff. Because Jim Hessler and I were talking about this the other day. Guides do this thing where they go, he will write, you know, it's like, no, he's dead. Yeah. He did it. He wrote it.
But it's
he
in
did
the
this.
Future to where they're talking about.
Right. So, because it's a like a technique to make you feel like you're about, it's about to happen. Right? And I understand why they do it. And it works for speaking it. But so Mike wrote it that way, like a guide would. And like a guide would speak it on a tour. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, that's not going to work. So I had to okay, well, whatever. He still gets credited. Guys. Okay?
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So I did that, and then I recorded on Monday. No, Tuesday? I don't know. I recorded the narration one of these days. I think it was Tuesday. And then I edited all my mess-ups out. And then started. Now, see, I can never do things simply, right? I could just put that in. And then what I did is I went out on the battlefield with guides since like May, and I recorded them just telling a story about something. And then I'm going to pop them in to the narration to accentuate the story, right? So then I'm like, oh, but you know what, though? There's got to be music. And there's got to be sound effects.
I heard birds in the first
There's
one.
birds.
There are birds.
There's a creek.
There's a creek. There's bullets.
Bullets.
Everyone is in for a treat.
Well, thank you, Cynthia. That's very kind of you to say.
It was very well done. It was very Ken Burns-esque.
Well, right. That's what I've ripped off. And last night I finished July 1st. and I just posted it for the patrons to get like an early release, sneak peek of it, but also to get more ears on it. I'm like, is there anything in the mix that needs fixing or anything like that? So the patrons are kind of like my focus group or whatever, sounding board, yeah. And then now right before you got here, I reworked July 2nd script a little bit, and then I recorded it, and now I have to go through and cut out my mess ups and my cursing and my temper tantrums when I mess up the words. I look at it, right? I'm looking at the word, and I say a completely different word.
Oh, I do that all the time.
Well, okay, is that what? Am I just not focusing? What is that? I'm afraid it's like something horrible.
No, I think it might be a mild form of dyslexia.
Oh,
in my case.
Oh, well, I don't think in my case. I just think sometimes my brain doesn't catch up with what my mouth is saying.
Maybe. Man, whatever it is, that's what was plaguing me today. So it was like, I'm sitting there and I'm reading, here, I'm like, I go, Cemetery Hill was dominated the surrounding landscape and offered Longstreet, and it says the Union, right? It's offered Longstreet, and then I go, God, ball that horse's water bottle, and so I got to cut that stuff out. And
do you ever have the problem where you see a word and you know how it's pronounced, but when you see it written, you can't pronounce it?
I had, when I was reading the credits, the part about the sound effects, some of them were recorded by Ty DeWitt. Ty DeWitt. I've said that name. DeWitt. Joyce DeWitt from Three's Company. DeWitt. I've said it a bunch of times, right? I'm reading it and I go, recorded by Ty DeWitt. And I go, that's not his name. And I go, Ty DeWitt. And I keep saying DeWitt. And then I go, why am I saying this? I've said his name a million times. And yeah. So, yeah, all of a sudden, I've got to cut that. But also, all of a sudden, I'm not pronouncing words the way I've pronounced them before. Here are the credits.
One of the words that I have, reconnaissance. If I see it written, I can't say it.
That's because it's something like Renaissance. It's not spelled how you would think it's spelled.
Or reconnoiter.
I love
or bivouac.
Reconnoiter and bivouac are two of my favorite words.
I can't. If I see it written, I'm like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with those
words.
Bivouac.
And I'm like, I know this word.
Anyway, so that is one of the things that's been occupying a lot of my time. I came home late last night. It was like 11 o'clock, I think. And I was sitting at the computer all day long.
Yeah.
That's good for your eyeballs.
That's bad for my back. No, these glasses they got that blue blocking thing in it.
I don't care how much blue blocking you got. It's going to with your eyeballs.
You're right, because it didn't bother me yesterday, but you're right. It might bother me some other day. My back, though, is just completely killing me.
Trash.
I'm hunched over. And then what was the right. And then here's the big hullabaloo, if you will.
Hullabaloo.
Excuse me, I've got enough gas to go to Pittsburgh there.
Good Lord.
The big hullabaloo is that on Friday, our landlord came by to fix something, and then he said, oh, by the way, I'm putting the house on the market on Monday. And I go, oh. And he's like, yeah, but you should be okay because your lease is until October, and it's probably going to be an investor who buys the property because there's two houses on the property. You got to buy them both together. And I was like, okay, So I tell Cindy when she gets home, and she starts laughing, and I'm like, what's so funny, crazy lady? And she's like, sometimes you just have to laugh, and I'm like, yeah, okay. But but you're right, you do have to laugh sometimes.
The irony of life. For me, it's just, second time in 2 years. What are you gonna do?
Right, and only like a month.
Second time in a year.
But it's only like a month off from when you were told that last time, right?
Yeah.
So we were talking one time, and I said, you know what? I am sick of big things in my life being because of the decision of somebody else.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm just done with that. And I never, whatever. So we started, I said, let's get ahead of this. and let's find a place. And then if he sells, fine, we'll get out of here anyway, because it's just like, I don't appreciate things being sold out from under me,
Yeah.
Not that I have a say, but so we start, there's nothing here. If you're thinking of moving here and renting, wait until this economic disaster is over, hopefully, because it's just not there. And everything is so expensive.
Yeah.
It's
You can
worse
buy
than
a
last
house.
year, though.
Yeah.
Like
It is
the
worse than
rental
last year.
market.
Yeah.
Yeah, rentals are bad.
I don't understand how it all works, but part of me is thinking that some landlords are kind of taking advantage of that. Like,
Well, I mean,
What do you mean?
That's what.
their mortgage stays the same, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So-
kind of what. I mean, it's supply and demand. It's the same
No, of course. No, I understand that,
So,
but you don't
if
need to do it.
Well, I'm not saying you need to, but even ours was,
Ours was high, and then the one next, the
Well,
people
one
moved
next
out
door.
next door, and he raised the rent $200 for whoever's next. So there is a place available, but it's
more than
it was.
what it even was
Yeah.
last year.
So anyway, so I think Cindy sent me a couple that were for sale. And I was like, well, these are for sale. And she's like, yeah, I know, but mortgages are the same, or even sometimes less than a lot of rents nowadays. And I go, you know what, you're right. And so we looked at a few houses, and we put an offer in on one yesterday.
Yeah.
And now we've got, what do we call it? Diarrhea. We're like, why did we do that?
I mean, that's not what I have, but
Yeah.
Matt has diarrhea.
I guess.
Constantly.
Yeah, I guess.
So that is the.
There is nothing-
I don't think it's going to happen, but
More adult scary than buying a house. And when Mark and I bought our house, the first night we spent there, we watched Money Pit with Tom Hanks.
Oh, yeah.
We were like,
Do
just
that.
get it out of our systems now.
Yeah.
Know that it's gonna be a shit show, and just
was it?
we've luckily had very few problems with where we're at right
What
now.
kind of problems did you have?
We had to redo the hot water heater in the furnace, which
Okay.
we kind of knew about. And right now we're okay. But
Were there any
when
surprises?
we first moved there, we had some interesting neighbors. Surprises.
Like something that wasn't disclosed that you're like, that would have been helpful if you disclosed that.
The water
Is disgusting.
in Bonneville is very, very hard. And so we had
Calcium.
to.
a water softener.
We had to. Well, we put in a water softener.
They're expensive,
but it
yeah.
didn't have one before we moved in, and it was. We had to replace every single spigot. Everything.
Yeah, because it's all caked.
It's all
with,
gross. Yeah. So that was kind of eye-opening.
Yeah.
Because you turn on the water, you don't think. I mean, again, this is the first house we ever bought, so I wasn't thinking I should test all of the faucets and spigots and stuff. And then Dad came over. Always have Dallas go with you to buy a house, by the way.
Oh, well, where is he?
Well, all you have to do is call. He'll come over. Fantastic. He used to do that for a living.
Oh, inspector or
yeah. He trained to be an inspector, and he used to do that kind of stuff. So,
Okay.
and he was a landlord. He had a own property and.
Did you have an inspector or a
Yes.
home inspection? They're supposed to turn on all the faucets.
They did.
Okay.
However, before we had the inspection,
Oh, gotcha.
Dad came over and was like this and looking at all this stuff. And
I
he was
just
like,
flushed the toilets.
to see what happens, or
I want to see how powerful the flush is.
which is literally dependent upon the toilet, but that's okay.
I hate the toilets where
You can replace the toilet.
We're gonna.
We're
gonna.
My dad so well.
What?
This is why you get along with my dad. So
Why does he
well.
do the same thing?
This is the same thing. He'd have the same. I hate toilets. Exactly where you're going.
I hate the ones where you flush them and the water goes.
Yep. He used to complain about my brother's toilet all the time.
Yeah, and it's like low to the ground, like a preschool. Remember, like in preschool, you had the toilets that were like low to the ground, right? Like in that episode of The
Those
Office.
are the cheapest ones
Yeah.
because they're the water efficient.
Ugh.
No.
No.
When they're it's like 80 gallons that you're flushing.
Yeah.
When they're the slow, super slow ones.
The old ones that like they
like
had in the 70s and
fills the
80s.
whole
and,
tank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And into the 90s. You know what I talk about. Like I like the ones, like the one downstairs here, turbo flush.
Oh, turbo flush. If you're not careful,
that's what I want at home.
You'll end up in the sewer. It'll take you
I
with
know.
it.
It will rip your guts out.
Yeah.
Yeah. You never do
It's
a courtesy
one.
flush.
No courtesy flush.
The poor audience, they have to listen. I'm sorry, ladies and
Listen,
gentlemen.
I feel like
Jill Sellers is going to say something to me about this because one time we were talking at lunch and she admitted to listening to the show. And there was that one bumper I used to play about, most likely somebody has to pee. We'll be right back, right? Yeah. And she's like, I forget exactly what she said, but she was like, a little too much on the pee talk. And I got to remember, this is a more dignified audience than...
it isn't. Jill Sellers and I were talking on Monday. She is a hoot.
She is.
And she said to Charles Gable... She said, Bethany is the only person who can make a bathroom sound sexy because of the new welcome center, and I'm always telling her, I'm so excited for that to happen because it's going to have bathrooms.
Yeah. Who
But in the
Yeah.
world of philanthropy, saying to somebody, I would like $100,000 to put in bathrooms is not a sexy sell.
Right.
However, I said to her right off the bat, I said, you get people up on that hill on Little Round Top and then they all have to pee and you're the furthest away from a bathroom anywhere. I can make a bathroom look sexy. Mm-hmm. And she told Charles Gable that in front of all these people at the Little Round Top thing. And I was like, yeah, that's me. It was cute.
Hello, Dolly. Hello, Dolly.
Exactly.
So, speaking of Dolly, Little Round Top is open again.
Yes.
And I have to thank everybody for watching my video of it on the Tube of You because it's got like 12,000 views now. And
really?
I put it out Monday night. So I was up there. First of all, I have to thank you and Brian, your boss, because Brian and I had lunch, I guess, a week before or
a couple days before.
Was it a couple days?
Yeah, it wasn't that long.
It was. Well, you had told me about it like a couple of weeks before, but it wasn't technically an invite. And then I had lunch with Brian, and he technically invited me, and then you followed up. It was Friday before?
Yeah, I think
okay.
It was Friday.
I tried to get you to become a member to invite you, but you wouldn't do that. So then Brian just invited you.
I'm not saying where, but I'm rescinding my membership from one other place. I'm not
a member, a follower.
I like to support in other ways. When I can.
Well, you let me know. No, I'm joking.
You know what ways
you let me know. Yeah, because let me tell you, all I get is grief.
What? Because I'm not a member?
No.
Yeah, they don't care.
I'm just making fun of you.
Oh,
it's okay.
That's fine.
Yeah.
You're more than welcome to do that. Anyway.
Anytime.
So thank you to both of you for doing that. And I went in there to the Ford room. Right. Mm-hmm. And as I walk in, I got my camera slung over my shoulder. And the first people I see are Chris Gwynn and Chris Heister, the Chris's. Mm-hmm. And they, we say hello. And Chris Heister says, I thought you'd be up on the hill setting up. And I go, what do you mean? She's like, well, your camera and everything. And I go, well, I thought we can't take our personal cars up there. I didn't know we could do that. And she's like, yeah, I can get you up there. And I'm like, great. So she wrote me a permission slip, and no, she didn't.
Oh,
that was the joke. I was like, can you write me a permission slip? And then, so meanwhile, while I see David Geister there, who I had on the show in my early days, because he and his wife were the artists in residence at the Klingel Farm, and I want to say they were the last ones. Is that right?
They may have been,
or at least the last ones to stay in the Klingel Farm.
Ones, yeah.
So anyway, well, because then we had COVID a couple of, I don't know. Anyway, point is, I had them on the show, and they were delightful.
They're the cutest people.
Very
ever.
Nice people, and I really enjoyed it. And then I haven't seen hide nor hair in 6 years, 5 years, 6 years, something like that. So I was very happy to see him, and I had totally forgotten, because Chris Gwynn told me that he had employed him to paint pictures for the new waysides. And there they are. Like, there are the paintings right there. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. And so and there's David. And so I go over and I talk to him and I go, let me interview you, So I interview him for the video and talking about the paintings and everything. And then I head over to Little Round Top.
Yeah.
And I park at the bottom of the hill.
Didn't say hi to me at all, by the way, guys. Just saying.
But we did speak.
I know. I went over to say, David Geister's here if you want to interview him about the paintings. And you're like, oh, yeah, I've already done that. And I was like, listen, jerk face.
Well, I was a little pissed that you weren't following my every move. So anyway.
I was literally working.
Yeah, well, literally when I get there, that should stop. And you just pay attention to me and anticipate my needs.
I forgot.
Anyway, I get up there and there's all this press and everything. And I didn't know what to expect. I was expecting I was going to go on the bus. So I'm thinking, what is the best way to travel light? And I brought a monopod instead of a tripod. And then I get up there and now I'm like, press. And they all have tripods because they're smart. And I got to stand there and hold this monopod on the windiest day of the year. So if you watch the video, you'll see like, oh, it's a really nice shot. He's panning and then whoops, it jerks because I'm fighting like 30-mile-an-hour winds. So forgive me for the shaky camera.
Yes, but you were more mobile than the rest of them.
I was, too, and I think
which
that
was nice.
Where that came, that was an advantage that I think I had, is I was able to flit about and get a bunch of different shots. And then I immediately came here to the studio and started editing it so that I could put it out that night. But then I had to take a break. Was it that night to go? No, it wasn't that night to go look at the house. That was when I was doing the. Anyway, the point is, I'm sorry, we're talking too long about me, but
shocking.
I've been I know. More than normal. I'm really busy, is what I'm saying, and so that's why we're doing a short show. We're already an hour and a half into it. So anyway, that's it. But Little Round Top is open. Everybody seems to be very excited about it. I have to laugh at some of the comments I see on the video of the negative Nellies, the negative Nancys, whatever you call them, the Debbie Downers, if you will.
I refuse to read the comments.
Who have not even been there yet, and they're just basing it off of what I chose to show them in a video, not what's actually there, not what it actually looks like or anything like that. And you want to get on there, Eric?
No, I was going to say, did you realize that your short that you posted earlier in the day was what most of the Gettysburg Facebook sites used to announce that Little Round Top was open?
Oh.
Almost all of the different Gettysburg groups.
Because...
Yep, they all use your...
You mean the one of me walking down the hill saying that? Yeah.
Yep.
So that was because... I went up to Jason Martz and I said, so when are you announcing that this is open? And he goes, noon. And I go, okay, I don't want to say anything before you. Oh, this is a funny story. I don't want to say anything before you do it. And he goes, okay, 12:05 then. I was like, fine. So as I'm walking down the hill, I do a video saying that it's open, and I upload it to my YouTube on the phone, and I schedule it for 12:05. But you can also choose AM or PM, and it's default to AM. So I hit upload or save or whatever, not realizing I didn't change it to PM. And so who was it? I think it was Dustin Wise texted me. Somebody texted me saying, that's so cool, Little Round Top's finally open again. And I was like, where'd you hear that? It's not coming out till 12. This is like at 11:35.
Oh,
and he's like, I just saw it on your YouTube, and I'm like, what? And I go on and I look and I see it's AM, and I was like, God damn it! So I delete it. Only 25 people saw it at that point, so I'm like, okay, good. So I delete it, and then I re-upload it for the proper time, and so that was the first video. And then I saw, like, right before it went up, I saw Jason's email come in with the press release, and I'm like, okay, we're good.
Yeah,
I can do it. But so I hope that didn't screw things up for them. But anyway, these people who haven't seen anything yet, and then just because it's different, they automatically have to poo-poo it. I think it's silly. What do you think about it? I mean, I honestly think it's nice.
Oh, yeah. I definitely do. People are freaking out about the parking. And I'm
not against them on that.
See, I am.
Okay.
And here's why. 2 reasons, actually.
I didn't say I'm with them, though. I'm just not against them. In other words, they have valid points, but so does the park.
But so does the park. And one of the reasons that always gets me is that when you would park along the side like that, going up the hill.
Yes.
I remember doing that numerous times and going, oh crap, it must be full at the top of the hill. I'm going to over and park.
Because you see the cars there.
Because I see the cars.
And then you get up and there's 4 spaces
like
open.
700 spaces up top.
Right.
So 9 times out of 10, I think it will probably equal out.
Yeah, I mean, not next weekend.
Yeah.
Right? Not anniversary, not this time of year.
Yeah.
This year.
But I'm also really, 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 from the perspective of me, like doing leading tours up there and stuff like that.
You give tours up there?
No, but I take people up there. Having that extra bus parking on the right-hand side is critical because the number of buses that you unload, it used to be on the left-hand side, it was the only bus parking spot, and then you would unload into traffic.
Yeah.
And unsafe and so scary.
If you parked on the right side and you get off the bus, you fall down the hill. Like there's a wall now to stop you. There's a little more space there. Mm-hmm. There's crosswalks that people will ignore. And I think it's infinitely better than what it was. And to be honest with you, I was saying to somebody up there, we were talking, and I said, honestly, I don't remember what it looked like before they did this. Now, vegetation could be scaled back a bit, but that's the whole park.
Yeah.
I was driving up on Devil's Den the other day, and I was looking out over the Triangle Field, but I couldn't because the vegetation's too high now.
But it's supposed to be that way.
No, it isn't. We did a clearing thing 20 years ago. That should be maintained. I'm sorry. It's a classroom. It's a classroom. It's not a preserve. It's a classroom. I will die on that hill.
Well, I have nothing to know what to do in front of me.
What?
When you have
propaganda?
Talking points?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I'm not debating.
Jesus, Mary Mother.
I'm not debating.
I can't even use my own language today.
Well,
but
as Matt always says, there were animals there before that would have eaten everything, right? So it would have.
Yeah, but now they shoot them.
No. One of the things that I will say about this,
you mean like the livestock? Yeah.
Is that? Did you see the park put up the signs along?
No parking.
No. Up on the top on the summit, showing you pictures of what it used to look like.
Yes, that was cool.
Yeah,
because that kind of gave me. Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and
there was a path
sidewalks
here, but you could also just walk anywhere because everybody just walked anywhere, and it was all bald. The 20th Main position, I think a lot of people are going to be kind of they're going to like what the improvements are. They're going to be bummed that the vegetation blocks everything now. It's all overgrown again. And maybe they have plans to remove it. I doubt it.
I don't know.
I think a lot of the reason there was no vegetation there was because people just walked anywhere.
That might be part of the
I think they're going to do it again anyway. And I mean, unless you're going to have somebody there 24/7 or, during park hours going, you can't walk there. You can't walk there. Like people are going to walk where they want to walk. But overall, it is so much easier to navigate up there. You don't twist your ankle.
Yeah. If you're in a wheelchair, it's so much easier.
Oh, you can get around.
Yeah.
And not only that, but it's very easy to get down to the 16th Michigan and the other monuments down on the slope there, which you could do before, but if you didn't want to rough it, then you weren't going to do it.
Yeah.
So there is in some ways more access to these other places. There's more handicapped access. And I'll debate the parking thing. I think there are fewer spots because they put the curbs in.
There are fewer made up spots.
Yes, but
the actual spots, like the number of parking spots that were there, are
designated
the same number
parking
of
spot,
parking
right?
spots.
Yes, I understand that, but that's not the way the public looks at it.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, I think that's the thing. I keep telling everybody this year, or at least for the anniversary, get on a bus tour. because if you're going to be waiting for hours to get a parking space.
See, I thought it was going to be like that too, and I've been up there several times, and there's
it's
not that
the
many
busy
people.
time yet. It's
I
not
know,
the
but
busy
I
time.
thought for sure there would be a
First of all, word
bajillion,
came out on a
people.
Monday. Okay, it's Thursday.
I guess.
All right, wait until Saturday. And then is this weekend considered anniversary weekend, or is next weekend? Because it's the anniversary.
Considered anniversary.
Okay, so then wait.
I don't know.
And wait for maybe the anniversary days. People will be here. I think it's going to be a bit of what the Germans used to call a Nachtmare.
Oh,
a coat rack?
Yeah.
No, I don't know what that is.
You know a cluster?
Oh, yes.
And then my phone autocorrects it to coat rack.
Real quick, before we move on to the news segment, Debbie, I feel not like he watches, but I sent a text to everybody and I said, we're doing a short show. You don't all need to show up. Cindy and Beth and I can do it. And Debbie had to drop something off. She's like, well, I'll drop something off. But Eric and Elizabeth showed up. And I'm like, well, God damn it. Now it's like a whole crew of people here. So then I said, Debbie, you can stay. You don't have to leave. I feel bad. Right, Deb? It's like you show up to drop something off and there's like 20 people here.
Get the hell out.
It's like, all right, get out, So we're just not going out to dinner afterwards because I got to get back to work. So how are you doing, Deb? What'd you think of Little Round Top?
I'm good. I think it looks fantastic.
Yeah. What do you think of the parking? No, who cares about the parking? Is there one improvement that you think is really good that you were particularly tickled by?
I love that they took a lot of those social trails and made them permanent trails. Like you said, it's easier to get down to the 16th Michigan, but also over to the Michigan Sharpshooters.
Yes.
That was like climbing over rocks and you weren't sure if you were going to come out with a bunch of ticks, and it's like, oh, it's like a real trail now.
Yeah. It's
I'm one of the few people that didn't do the social trails very much because when you walk down, you then have to turn around and walk back up. Mm-hmm. And I'm lazy.
But if you park at the bottom of the hill and get a ride to the top and then walk down to your car, you're okay.
I'm still way too lazy for this.
Beaver Lake looks beautiful from up there.
It also looks a bit smaller thanks to all the...
It kind of does, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I thought it did.
It's drying up.
You think?
Mm-hmm. A little bit.
Well, because we haven't had a lot of rain.
We haven't had hardly any. Did you have a horrible storm last night?
So apparently, yes, I was in here working diligently for the listeners, but I heard like sound on the ceiling. It sounded like hail.
Yeah.
Did we get hail?
It sure sounded like it.
Yeah.
I didn't look up.
Hail, and you know what it sounded like was like the sound effects they use in movies when a ship is out at sea in a storm, and they're like, the scene takes place in the cabin or something like that, and you just hear like the wind, and I'm just like beating on the window and the walls and everything. Like, yeah, it was the hull. Excuse me, the hull of the ship, and it was really loud. Yeah, but we did get the rain. How about you, Eric and Elizabeth? Did you go up there? I'm sure you did, right?
Yeah, we went up last night for a little bit because we didn't get up there till 8 o'clock at night. And then I was up there 6 o'clock this morning.
And what do you think?
It's nice. I mean, it's hard to remember what it was like before. So a lot of it doesn't look that much different other than you have nicer trails. You don't have asphalt randomly poured
strewn about
anymore. But yeah, other than that, it's nice. And like you said, the social paths now being a more durable path, although I'm interested to see how that holds up. It surprisingly held up well after the storms. I expected to see some of it washed out this morning.
The aggregate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all held up.
We've had a lot of rain since they put that in. So
it all held up. There was just, now from the storms, there were a ton of leaves and stuff, but while I was up there, the park showed up about 6:30. There were like 10 guys with industrial leaf blowers.
Oh, really?
They just lined up across the thing. Some guys went one way, some guys went the other, and they went the whole way down the road blowing all the leaves off.
Wow.
They didn't do it anywhere else. It was still covered with stuff. Up there, they did it and they had a guy that went up all around the top, and all that. I helped him move a stick out of the thing. But there was a log that was my big thing today.
Contribution to the effort.
There was a log down across the 20th Main path, that I'm assuming that they would have removed. But Yeah, other than that, it was nice to be back up there again and see it. I've not seen it for so long.
There's English American has a question. They say, "Hi everyone. So not related to Little Round Top, but was wondering if anyone knows about any battlefield locations besides Neal Avenue that have been mostly forgotten about now." Yes. There's another really cool one. It's South Cavalry Field.
Or even East Cavalry Field. Most people don't go out.
Well,
there,
most people don't go there, but I don't think that's forgotten. I mean, it's still very accessible, easily, But South Cavalry Field itself is not particularly easy because you got to like pull over on the side of the Emmitsburg Road. There's no parking there or anything. But a lot of people know. Okay, so if you're heading on the Emmitsburg Road south towards Maryland, okay, everybody knows the left side of the road, which is a field. There's some cannon and monuments there. Everybody knows that. And I think a lot of people call that South Cavalry Field. But it actually goes to the other side of the road too. Mm-hmm. But it's shrouded by trees. So when you're coming, it's in a blind spot. And if you don't know to look there, it's right next to this white house that's on the right-hand side across from what is more easily identifiable as South Cavalry Field, right?
Yep.
If you can park, you can go down that avenue. And it's all grass, but you can tell from when it was like an old little old road for like horse and buggies.
Yeah.
And there's monuments down there.
I feel like there's something similar to that across the street from the road that takes you on Benner's Hill. Is that true?
Yes, you're absolutely right.
There's something similar. You can walk down there.
There are cannon there, and there's the old roadbed over there as well. And then, oh shit, I just lost it. Oh, speaking of East Cavalry Field, excuse me, if you come in, I told you. I got enough gas to go to Pittsburgh. If you come in from the Harley dealership on Cavalry Field Road,
yes,
as you come into the park, just as you get to that bend where you're going to turn you're going to turn right. If you go straight, from what I was told, and I could be wrong, but I was told this by a guide, you can't go straight.
Yeah,
it's closed off, right, in a car. But straight ahead is the original farm lane that the park road is paved over. So, and you can see that there. Also, if you go over by the Michigan Brigade Monument, a little further to the east, there are some monuments. I forget which ones they are now. Shoot, I wish Lentz was here. But there's some monuments off to the left there that go back in the trees. I want to say it's a Pennsylvania and a New Jersey and a New Jersey regiment, but don't quote me on that. Anyway, Eric?
There's Howe Avenue. I know there's a Pennsylvania one down on Howe Avenue. Howe Avenue.
Well, we're not talking about Howe Avenue now. We're talking about East Cavalry Field.
Yeah, I'm not sure where you're talking about. There's a little lane there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you park, there's a little pull off there and you go back and there's a
Yeah, it's all grass now and it's all surrounded by trees on three sides.
Yeah.
It used to not be. Long time before we were around, but and that was a little road as well. And also Custer Avenue around the Michigan Brigade Monument, there's a sign that says Custer Avenue, but you're like, what's this? It's a field.
Right.
Look closely, you can see that there was a road there.
Bed.
Yeah. Also,
Harmon Farm. Most people never go out there.
I've never been out there, so I couldn't tell you.
Mm-hmm.
But Webb Avenue and Harrow Avenue, which are right along the wall. Webb Avenue was a loop at in the angle, and Harrow goes in front of Harrow's Brigade marker.
That was Zook Road.
Zook is no.
That would be Wheatfield area, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he fought further down in that area.
Okay.
So Harrow, though, his brigade marker is facing the field of Pickett's charge, and that is one clue. And then if you actually go there and stand there, you can see the grass grows a different color than the rest of the field. Same with Webb Avenue, and it grows in a loop. It's all right there under our noses, but you got to know where to look.
And if you go into the cemetery area of the Evergreen Cemetery, and you look down kind of where it goes down into that gully, you can see the roadbed for the electric trolley.
Oh, yep. Well, and that path that goes through Rose's Woods, and down at the bottom of the triangular field is the old ferry. No, not ferry. Thank you. Electric.
Wow. All right, on to news.
My words are not coming.
Gracious.
Anyway, yes, there are a lot of places. English American, is that what it was? Yeah, English American. Let's see, guys. We were talking about safety. Look at what these men went through. People today are too soft. Absolutely correct, John B. I'll be missing the 3-foot asphalt drop-off by the New York Monument. Grant says, what are best and worst things of New Little Round Top? I think the whole thing is best. It's better than what it was before. Mm-hmm. What it was before is just what we were used to. Mm-hmm. But what it was before was not what it was a generation before that, and when the veterans were there. It has changed over the years, and that's what it does. Life is change as much as we hate it, and boy, do I hate it. But that's something you just got to learn to accept. And the worst, I think we're going to have parking issues. Those curbs there. See, when you try to control behavior, bad things happen. So I think what they should have done, like they did with the social trails, is they should have just made it parkable on the side of the roads, on the hill there, because I can't wait to actually, in maybe a few months, talk to some law enforcement officers and say, give me some of the craziest parking stories you got from Little Round Top.
The bus parking spaces on the right-hand side, they've already issued some tickets for people pussing
in the bus.
Parking in the bus ones.
Like a Colombian airport. They're going to have guys there with full body armor and M16s. We were up there last night. There was already people parked in the bus parking.
See, that's what I'm saying. Problem. People want to go there if the designated parking spaces for cars are full. They're not going to drive in circles.
I wonder
they're going to make a parking
bus
spot
only on the roadway.
It does.
I didn't look.
There was a sign somewhere that I saw that said bus parking only or something like that. Something to that effect, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
because of course our buses were parked over it. So
well,
I had heard they didn't want to put it on the road itself, but they might have to. If people are ignoring a sign that's next to it.
Well, but like all the signs in this area, they're not readable. They don't make sense. I vaguely got like a snapshot of it, and I could be misrepresenting this, and if I am, correct me in the comments. But I seem to remember as I was walking up the hill on the north face, I saw it facing me in the road. But if you were parking in the bus spots,
there's additional bus parking down the hill.
No. But this said bus parking only. I might be wrong on this one, so I'm going to just stop. Not like it's a big deal, but I think I might be wrong on that.
I was talking to someone on Monday about the bus parking.
Yes.
And I said, I'm waiting to see how long it takes until cars park in here. And I don't remember who I was talking to, but they looked at me like, that would never happen. And I said, it happens all the time at the Peace Light. The people park in there and they're like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, oh yeah.
Well. People do that.
Yeah.
They tried to do it at the Get Out of the Car tour. The one Get Out of the Car tour until you threw them all out.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. They did. Yeah. Our own
I'm
people.
telling you, Matt.
I said, you gotta walk. Go. I said, I'm not getting a ticket because of you.
They technically did add 3 spots up there. If you look at coming up, what's the one that comes up from Devil's Den? There's 3 spops there. On the
Wright Avenue.
Side.
Correct. They did. So yes. So
they gained 3 spots.
That's true. They did gain 3 parking spots. And there's also the gravel lot at the bottom of the north face.
Yeah.
But this is assuming that you're capable of walking up a hill. And not everybody is. You got a bad knee, you're old, whatever the case may be.
You're old.
You got to be right up there. So we'll see. It should be interesting. I know people are always looking for something to complain about, but you'll get better. It'll get better. What about Channing's Knoll? Seems that's out of the way. It gets skipped. Yeah, it is out of the way. There's just not enough time to get everything in a 2-hour car tour with a guide. Preservation is not just about leaving things as they are, but it's about preparing an area for future. Correct, John? Grant, people can't park elsewhere and walk there. Yeah, they can, but they won't. Yeah, I wouldn't either. I would just be like, well, we'll come back at another time.
I worry though too, like at Antietam, the road, you once you're in there, like little roadways, you're kind of in it.
Oh yeah.
Whereas here, you're able to get on and off the park in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things I hear at the visitor center is, how do I do this?
Yes.
And
get a guide.
And that's what I usually say. Or I say there is no real right way or wrong way to do this. It just depends on your level of nerdiness.
You could also park map.
Yeah. So
although I never recommend that because people can't find the starting point. They don't know where they are.
Yeah, in relation to anything.
Yeah.
And I think this park is so unique. There's just no right way to do it. There really isn't. And I think what's funny is when you have people come up, I think we talked about this last time. When people come up and they say, I'm here for 15 minutes.
15 minutes, yeah.
I wish people would pay more attention and do some research before.
Yeah, the 15-minute people always made me laugh because I'm like, I say, oh, you're here for 15 minutes? I go, okay, well, so we're here in the bus parking lot because this was at Gettysburg. By the time you get to the Tawnytown Road, that'll be your 15 minutes. So enjoy your tour of the visitor
parking
center
lot.
Campus. Yeah. They just don't realize how big it is.
No. And I wish I don't know if you could do it a better way. I don't know.
That's why you got to get a guide. And I'm telling you folks, if you don't, especially if you're coming during the anniversary days, after Bike Week, everything kind of dies down until late September. So you should be all right. But anniversary days, just take a bus tour. It'll be, take the double decker or whatever. They'll stop up there. You can get off and walk. It's better than waiting forever in a day, to find a parking space or parking at the bottom of the hill, walking up and having a coronary at the top of the hill. So that is what my recommendation would be there. And of course, you can get a bus tour at the visitor center. You could also go to the Gettysburg Tour Center on Baltimore Street and get one there. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the news.
And now, all the news that's fit to print and a good deal that's not. Here's AG Today's lead anchor, Bethany Yingling, with current events and sidewalk conditions.
The Black History Trail launched this week, giving insight into how African Americans contributed to the Civil War.
Bus parking and public parking are news items once again.
A replica of a Civil War prison camp is completed in Elmira, New York.
Elmira.
And we already talked about this, but today's top story was Little Round Top opens to the public. If you didn't hear all this and more in today's news.
Great. I love it. All right.
Yes.
Well, good, girls. It sounds like we have a lot of exciting things to talk about. So let's talk about them.
So I do want to say about...
People in the back, jump in whenever you want.
Little Round Top.
Yeah.
I do want to point out a couple things because we didn't talk about this. It was a 22-month project, nearly $13 million. And it involved joint efforts from, of course, the National Park Service, Gettysburg Foundation, the National Park Foundation, and the American Battlefield Trust, who, between all of us, it was about $5 million in rehabilitation funds. And the rest was done through federal funding.
I donated $12.
That was great, Matt. Thanks for that.
Worked really hard for that.
And they've done a study
like 3
showing
hours
that
of work.
9 out of 10 people who come to Gettysburg end up on top of that hill. So that's a lot of people that are going to be coming up here.
It's funny. I got to tell you, 9 out of 10 people, and that was a stat I believe that Dave Malgi said in his speech, which, by the way, let me tell you about the speeches. Somebody made a comment on the video about the speeches, and he was disparaging,
Why?
Because it was,
And people wanted to just pat each other on the back.
Oh, that's what it was. It was all self-congratulatory stuff and everything like that. And I responded to it, and I said, first of all, what do you expect at such an event? That's what they do at these events. Yeah. That's what you do. Mm-hmm. You congratulate yourself. You thank each other. It's not for entertainment purposes.
No, it's a ribbon cutting.
It's a ribbon cutting, yeah. I mean, come on. You got to be real about this stuff. And I said, but for you to say all of them were that way, you're wrong. I said Dave Malgie's speech, as he even said, was from the heart, right? Mm-hmm. And I loved it.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, and if you watch the video, it's the only video that I actually spliced in footage of what he's talking about whenever I didn't think to get the stuff. I just happened to get the stuff, so I didn't shoot for his speech. But I'm like, well, I got most of these things, so I would splice in the footage of what he's talking about because it was a moving speech, and I've been meaning to email him about it and tell him I think it's a beautiful speech. I thought it was great.
Yeah, he did a great job,
and he did. Yeah, like please, people are. It drives me nuts.
Chances are they didn't even make it to that one.
But what? No,
here in the beginning and just right.
And then they skipped along. Yeah. The funny thing was. That McNair, remember McNair? You've been McNaired, and I don't know if you were here when the McNair story began.
Sort of.
McNair.
I was expecting it, so
I don't remember the.
You've been McNaired.
So, real quick, for those of you who don't know, McNair was a guy who was at the 30th anniversary of the movie thing when I did my panel with Bo Brinkman and Joseph Fuqua, and they both had scenes with Martin Sheen, and I said, wow, it sounds like he's a really generous actor, and he's so generous that he donated some of his time, and ladies and gentlemen, Martin Sheen, and I point and people are like, oh, and then we were talking about it on one of my live drives on Monday, the following Monday. And everybody was like, oh, that was funny. And then McNair was like, I didn't think it was funny. You got a lot of people excited. It pissed me off. And so I call them the white blood cells. All the people in the chat just started attacking McNair like he's the virus in the room, And I'm like, no. Like, leave him alone. Okay, so he doesn't have a sense of humor. Like, okay, that's fine. You're allowed to not be funny, And I started doing this thing, and I spent the whole time. I think Eric, you complained that there was too much McNair in that comment. Remember that?
Oh, I didn't say anything disparaging about McNair.
No, you're talking about me. Get out of here, Eric. So it became a thing where like, oh, you're getting McNair, and stuff. Yeah. But now he's a patron, and he's actually coming on the show to do an Ask a Guide with someone. So it's amazing how I can turn that around, right? But McNair. I just
can't believe it was that long ago that you don't.
Yeah.
You weren't.
I was around. I just wasn't as involved.
Right. I don't think you were officially the co-host. Anyway, so McNair sent me a message.
I didn't get invited to anything. Just pointing that out.
McNair sent me a message the other day because I did a short from Dave Malgie's speech where he's listing all the things that people love about Little Round Top, and he made a joke about, and of course, people come to see the grave of Buster Kilrain, right? And McNair, in his defense, is not the first person, and I'm sure he won't be the last, to say something to the effect of, does he actually know that Buster Kilrain wasn't real? And I'm like, do you even know who that is that made that speech? Like, yeah, he knows Buster Kilrain's not real. It's called a joke.
Yeah.
But there are people who come here wanting to know where he was buried.
Oh, 100%.
I've met them. I've heard they've asked me. So, like, yeah, it's funny. Okay, what's next in the news there, girls?
So we talked about this a little bit last week about the fact that it was going to open, but it is now open. The new self-guided tour in Gettysburg highlighting the history and experiences of Black community members. It's known as the Gettysburg Black History Trail, which is a project that's been brought together by several different organizations. There's 11 locations on the trail meant to paint a picture of Gettysburg's Black heritage. One of the locations is Lincoln Cemetery, which was the final resting spot for hundreds of Black citizens of Gettysburg and Adams County, including around 30 Civil War veterans. So they had the official, I don't know if it was a ribbon cutting, but the kickoff ceremony at Lincoln Cemetery yesterday. So that's really great. They have the 11 sites. Do you want me to read them?
Give me the top three.
You told me to do this last time. I'll pick different ones. So the Abraham Bryan Farm is one of them. The Gettysburg Lincoln Railroad Station, Ticket to the Past, is there as another one. And then the Jack and Julia Hopkins house at 219 South Washington Street. I don't know.
I remember having this conversation now. Yes.
Because there's many spots. And
right.
So, like,
and I said,
they do have an app.
I did say name some.
Yeah, which is like
not There was one I said don't name.
You said top 3.
Yeah.
So I did. But the point is that they are on an app that is also with Destination Gettysburg. It has the crop hop and the Pour Tour.
Pour Tour.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So now that is going to be on there as well. So you can check that out and see all the different sites and make sure you stop by when you are in town.
Ouch. Yep. Okay, next on the news. So
hold on, sorry. Kevin Pasco, send me an email, matt@addressinggettysburg.com. I have an assignment for you. Go ahead.
Well, that wasn't cryptic at all.
Yes.
Yeah, read the comments.
Oh.
Thank you, Debbie. Debbie knows.
I do.
Okay, so just to talk about, because what's coming up next week, everyone?
Christmas!
Battle anniversary! Ba-ba-da, da-da-da. All right, so they're considering it 10 days of events to commemorate the 161st Battle of Gettysburg, starting on June 28th and continuing through July 7th. There's going to be live performances, guided tours, fireworks, reenactments. So just kind of going to give a little bit of a highlight of some of the things that are happening outside of the national park stuff. Did you have any of these on your events? No. The commemoration kicks off with a play, The Night Before Gettysburg, with author and playwright Chuck Johnson. It's a 30-minute one-man play, and it's going to take place at the Lincoln Gettysburg. The Gettysburg Lincoln Railroad Station. It delves into the mind of Abraham Lincoln as he puts the finishing touches on the Gettysburg Address. It's a free performance, which is pretty cool, on June 28th through the 30th, starting at 7 p.m. And it's kind of like a first come, first served situation. I'm going to skip the national park stuff because we'll talk about that here in a second. The Gettysburg Battlefield Preservation Association will produce a 2-day battle reenactment at the historic Daniel Lady Farm on July 6th and 7th. These events draw hundreds of reenactors. They're already setting up. I saw the fences go up in the field the other day, so there's some Virginia worm fences out there for them to run over and knock over and reenact around. So that'll be a lot of fun. There's also the reenactment at the Shriver House Museum on July 6th that depicts what it was like to be a family caught in the crossfire. So if you take a look at their website, that's a really cool event.
Mm-hmm.
If you have never done it before, they kind of have the Rebs come in and go through the town and take the house. And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and by the way, I'll repeat what I said last week. I think Nancy is still looking for a couple more reenactors. If you want to go and do that, it's a cool experience if you're into reenacting. So go ahead and do that. Shriver House. Just look up the phone number. I have it somewhere. Go ahead.
Oh my gosh.
Keep talking.
So also, don't forget that while all of this is happening,
Not there.
You know him. He has to make as much noise as possible.
Apparently so. While all of this is happening, there's still the 100 Nights of Taps. So that happens every night at 7 p.m. at the National Cemetery.
Speaking of which, wasn't our buddy Ron?
Our friend Ron played yesterday.
Why didn't we know about that ahead of time? Well, I was working. But still, I could have taken 15 minutes and gone over and watched him. How did it go? Do you know? Or is there a report on that?
I was there.
You were there. Go ahead.
He did a great job. It was very moving. Troy was the ranger, and he talked about 2 men from Rhode Island. But yeah, Ron's performance was fantastic.
Good. Did he jazz it up?
No.
Okay, good. Because you got. I was going to say.
Jazz up taps.
No, you know, like bum-ba-dum, 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 bum-ba-dum. Go up now. Bum-ba-dum.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I just been sitting in front of a computer for too long. Hey, by the way, Nancy, it's shriverhouse.com. I'm sorry, .org. And you can email director@shriverhouse.org. Okay? Thank you very much. Go ahead. Back to the girls.
All right.
Oh boy. You guys are a barrel of monkeys.
I didn't think you were done already.
I was done.
I'm sorry. Okay, so next in the news, the city of Elmira was a pivotal landmark for the American Civil War, and efforts to preserve and enhance its history have continued on with the construction of a stockade wall replica. Elmira is about 200 miles away from the site at the Battle of Gettysburg, but the city still played a role in the American Civil War. Confederate prisoners of war were held in the prison camp's barracks, and there's an effort to ensure it's preserved. So,
that is prison camps are depressing.
Yes.
So, but it is interesting to go and see that and then try to imagine yourself. We have it so far. We have it so good in this country.
Yeah.
This modern group of Americans.
So this one, it became a prisoner of war camp in 1864, and it would it's written just like you were saying before. This would house, it housed 12,000 Confederate soldiers until the war's end in 1865.
Yeah.
So the Friends of Elmira's Civil War hope to shine a light on the city's history and connection to the war through education and preservation. If you're interested in learning all there is about this camp, the Friends of Elmira Civil War Prison Camp and Elmira College will be holding a symposium at the college from July 26th to 28th. So you can check that out on their website, I'm sure. I don't have that handy. And I'm sorry, I was trying to get the name of the app for Marie. She was looking for the app for the Black History Trail. And all I can tell you, because I can't find the thing I was reading last week on the show, but it's the Gettysburg Experiences app. But how to get the Black History Trail on there, I'm not exactly sure. So you might want to try to Google that.
Okay. So this past Monday, once again, parking became an issue.
Parking.
Yes.
Like and share, ladies.
There was a
workshop
session on Monday with the Gettysburg council members, and several proposals were issued. One proposal would limit the number of buses parking downtown, and another would provide extra parking on Sundays for the churches in the area along the main roads there. The current proposal to create reserved spaces for buses is very similar to that pilot program that they ran last year, which no one seemed to really take advantage of. So everybody's kind of like, well, if nobody took advantage of it, why are we doing it again? What's the point to all of this shenanigans? So they've been talking about parking and the rezoning for parking and how parking is going to work uptown for the past 18 months. Do you think they're a little tired of it yet? Matt Moon, the council president, informally polled council members on the latest bus parking proposal, and acceptance was high but not complete. So still going to be an ongoing thing.
What is the problem that they're trying to fix?
So the first pilot program left the reserved bus spaces open for 8 months a year when there is little bus traffic, while the current program has $54 a day fee to reserve 3 spaces needed for one bus.
What?
They can either pull in and pay the regular fee, or they can pull in and pay $54 for the 3 bus for the 3 parking spaces that they're taking up.
What was the problem, though, that they have to fix this? Is it just to make it look like they're doing something, or is there actually a problem?
People are there's 2 sides. People are complaining because there are certain places, like Shriver, for example, that reserve spaces, and she pays that
she's
fee
paying for it
and puts it on
the thing,
or
the hotels,
the
bag over the meter. She bags the meter.
And that was taken away.
Yes.
They were told no. They couldn't do that anymore. And then they did this pilot program where they were going to let people park in the spaces and just leave them open so that people could pull in there as a bus. But it was during times in which there weren't a lot of buses, but no one took advantage of the program because no one knew it was happening.
But also, that means you have to find 3 spaces that are open. Right? Am I missing something here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you got to find 3 spaces that are open so you can park your stupid bus. Well, how often does that happen in town?
So the rest of the current program that's currently running, it would work if it was affordable to businesses. And he suggested a charge of this is Matthew Moon, the council president, a charge of $150 a month per space.
Jesus Christ.
Ooh. As an alternative.
Jesus. Bobblehead. Saber.
This Moon is quoted as that price represents a staggering loss of revenue to tens of thousands of dollars. The revenue we get from parking is absolutely crucial to the operation of our government, as it represents about 23% of all the borough's revenue.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, well, when it's a highway robbery, it's going to be a large percentage.
So the churches were affected because they also bag their meters. So the need to enforce parking ordinance without informal exceptions is where they're kind of fighting it. The latest proposal, signs placed in front of the two churches would read church parking only Sundays, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m., and be attached to the parking meters over which the bags have been previously placed.
You know, on a related note, James Geisler says, I brewed our first pot of Little Ground Top this morning. Fantastic. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was totally related.
So there were people from the church, from Christ Lutheran there to talk. And the council member was going to let them, asked to allow these people to talk about their experience with the parking. However, it didn't seem to go over really well with everybody. But anyway, they did end up talking.
They got to talk about...
They were going to talk. Chris Berger took the unorthodox action of seeking input from Christ Lutheran representatives who were present. Moon seemed inclined to disavow the move, but then relented and asked if a compromise permission that didn't involve meter bags would be acceptable. The church pastor was hesitant to speak officially, but said Jesus was a compromiser.
Andy built my hot rod.
No comment.
Okay. There's something... it's something it's not it seems like something else is going on here.
I feel like that too, but then here was the alternate opinion. They were against the signs partly because they would disturb the view of the front of the church.
Excuse me.
So they didn't want to put up the signs in front of the church because they think it would disturb the view of the front of the church. Because they're historical buildings.
Right. Yeah.
There's just a lot. There's a lot going into this, and it's never going to be resolved, and bus parking is going to be a very entertaining nightmare for at least the next 18 months.
I don't know.
Marie says next thing you know, we'll have to park at Walmart and walk to town.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, yeah, right. And you take a Rabbit Transit in or something like that.
Yeah. It would be fascinating to talk to Max Felty about this.
Why?
Because he's in charge of buses. He runs a bus company.
Yeah.
But to talk about how he feels about the fact that you can't park downtown or do anything downtown if you have a bus. And, there's a huge portion of our economy that is based on tourism and people coming in on buses.
By bus.
And they can't park downtown. And then, you have people who have businesses downtown.
It's too bad, during certain seasons, you can't park in the middle school lot or the elementary school lot over on Lefevre with the buses.
Now they're going to start.
Now they're going to start charging. Yeah.
And how many recently? I don't know if you've noticed this if you've gone out to the outlets, but there are so many businesses moving, local businesses moving out to the outlets.
Yeah.
Yes.
As well as a lot of bus groups going to the outlets for lunches and stuff like that.
Well, that's good for the outlets, and
the people downtown.
Well, it's not good for the people downtown, but they need to go to their council meetings more, and they need to tell their council to stop messing with things that aren't broken. I don't know what was wrong with the bagging of the meters. What was wrong with that?
I think they felt people took advantage of it, and they always
you know what happened? I know the story
day.
behind this. It's a personal vendetta, and so everybody has to suffer. I'll tell you off the air.
Yeah,
but
there's some of that too.
Yeah, there is.
This is like when somebody decides to do something stupid, and then we all have to have warning labels.
One bad apple spoils a whole damn bunch.
Yeah, somebody puts the hairdryer in a tub of water, and now we all have to have big, huge signs on our hairdryers that say, don't put this in water.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. What's next?
Events, I believe.
All right, let's try to be done at 7. Go.
What time is it
15
now?
minutes.
Oh, my God. Okay. Go
All right,
ahead.
7:05.
Okay, so first we have the daily tours of the Dobbin House Tavern will be given Friday, 6/28, so that's tomorrow, through Sunday, July 7th. There's 60-minute presentations that take visitors through all the historic rooms to highlight the story of pioneer Reverend Alexander Dobbin and the house that he built. Interpreters use artifacts, some dating back to the 18th century, to evoke the lifestyle of the colonists on the frontier of early America. Tickets can be reserved. They are free, but they can be reserved online at dobbinhouse.com/freetours.htm. So that's pretty cool.
Very nice.
Check that out.
Speaking of free tours, I'm, I had a conversation with Louis Trott, licensed battlefield guide extraordinaire, and the guide who does
all
the
around good
car
guy.
tours. Yeah, exactly. And I said, hey, Louis. Next year we're going to do get out of the park tours. I've spoken to people at some other sites and they're very happy to have us. And I said, but I don't want you to get screwed out of getting paid because there's a regulation and I'm too stubborn to, do it. And so would you be willing to, we'll pick some sites and then, you got to like research and come up with a tour for them. And, would you be willing to do that? And he's like, yeah, I'd be willing to do that. And I said, and you might have to share with some local, historian or something. He's like, yeah, that's fine with me. And I know Tracy Bear had mentioned, doing like Chambersburg, and in the comments he mentioned Fairfield. I think, and it's coming along nicely. And once they're up and running, we'll let you know how you can donate, and it'll go to things like when we do the one or two get out of the car tours actually here at Gettysburg, and also videos and other educational programs and some grants for other videographers who YouTubers who aren't that big and want to come to Gettysburg but have to get a permit. They can apply for a grant, and we would give it to them. That's some of the things that I'm thinking they should do. And then, but Tim's got his own ideas, and it's his thing, so I will
let him do that.
Yeah, let him do whatever he's going to do. So anyway, yes, Brandy Station. No, that's another one we'll do, Mike. So very good. Next.
Okay, so this Saturday's the 29th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All day.
This Saturday at 8 p.m., addressing Gettysburg, the Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center and the Gettysburg Film Commission will hold a free outdoor screening of the movie Gettysburg.
What am I doing on Saturday?
Meet at the Hill Unger Performance Pavilion near the intersection of Springs Avenue and Seminary Ridge. A chair is recommended. There is a rain date of Sunday, June 30th at 8 p.m. if it does happen to rain, but fingers crossed it does not. So that'll be super fun.
Yes, thank you for reminding me about that. We'll have fun with that one there.
Also at the seminary on Sunday the 30th, they will offer 3 free interactive children's exhibits. Okay. Including Life in a Cavalry Camp at 11:30 a.m.
Why didn't we have this when I was a kid?
I know, right?
Can adults do? I would love to do a weekend where you can be like in the cavalry, and they like they teach everything. You got a horse, you got to take care of the horse and everything like that. I'd love
camp, an adult history camp.
Yes, I would love to do that. Like, but by do that I mean watch somebody else do that while I sleep at a hotel. No, I would love to do that.
Civil War Signal Corps at 1:30. And Mending the Wounded at 3:30. Each is recommended, most for students in grades 5 through 12. And then they'll also host a sunset walking tour at 6:30 p.m. for all ages titled The Eve of Battle, June 30th, 1863. Each of these programs is free to all visitors. So you can go onto their website and take a look at those events if you would like to attend them as well. Also, do you have some?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay. So we always talk about the park programs that happen on July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Yes, we do. Always.
And those programs you can take a look at on old internet. But what a lot of people don't realize is the park actually does pre-battle anniversary and post-battle anniversary programming. They have a ton of stuff going on, but there's some really cool walks going on June 29th at 3 p.m. If I Must Die, I Will Die at Home, The Gettysburg Civilian Story Part 1. June 30th, 3 p.m., we poured a most destructive fire upon their flanks, the Bucktail Brigade in Gettysburg. All of this is on their website, of course. And the aftermath of the battle, they have a bunch of stuff going on, their normal programming. But their battlefield walks on July 6th at 10 a.m., the aftermath of the battle, the photography of Alexander Gardner at Devil's Den. And at 3 p.m., Wounded Along the Wall, medical vignettes of Pickett's Charge, which is co-sponsored by the Licensed Battlefield Guides. And then on the 7th at 10 a.m., Pickett's Charge and the War for Memory, which is co-sponsored by the Africana Studies Department at the Gettysburg College. And 3 p.m., the place was greatly injured by the troops, the Gettysburg Civilian Story Part 2. So these are some really cool programs that a lot of people don't realize that the park does pre and post battle anniversary. So check those out.
They also have the, sorry.
Go ahead.
The houses will be open as well.
The houses will be open, yep.
They've also specifically said from 10 to 2, which means when the park says that, that means a ranger will be there as well as the volunteers that usually help. So.
Thank you, Debbie.
Mm-hmm. All right. This weekend, the 29th and 30th, is the 51st Annual Gettysburg Civil War Collectors Show. There will be 300 tables and relics from vendors around the country. There are VIP passes available. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Sunday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. General admission is $10. Children under 12 are free with a parent or guardian. It's at the All-Star Events Complex at 2638 Emmitsburg Road. You could purchase tickets in advance or at the door for $10. So check that out if you're interested.
Mm-hmm. July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, there are evening talks at the Gettysburg Foundation with the Gettysburg Foundation at the Gettysburg Military Park Museum and Visitor Center. They'll have book signings, evening talks, and then on July 6th and 7th are the daytime talks and book signings. So nothing costs money for that. However, you do want to kind of get a ticket for the evening programs because there's a finite number of seats. So the seats are free, but you do want to get tickets. A couple of them are sold out. You can check the website for more details. The July 2nd and July 3rd ones are sold out, but the July 1st one still has tickets. During the daytime, the Sacred Trust talks for July 6th and 7th, you come and go as you please. You come, there's a schedule online. You can come in the morning, sit under the tent, and listen the whole day through without any interruption.
Beautiful. Are you going
to
do anything on that?
I am dealing with the
fallout.
It sounds like it's a hardship, but on July 5th is the Stephen Lang, Jeff Shara, and Tim Cobb and Harold Holzer program with a dinner. That is sold out.
Yes.
Are you coming?
No, you didn't get me a ticket.
That's not true.
It's pretty true.
That was what you said
right?
last week.
True? Yeah.
Oh.
Exactly.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. But anyway, that is how that is going to go down. That program is on the 5th, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll talk about that later. I hate you so much.
No, I was laughing at a comment.
Okay.
By the way, while you're looking for what to read there, just for some of you to anticipate, here are some of the comments on the Patreon upload of the upcoming July 1st episode. Their anniversary episode. Nice job, Matt.
Riveting,
geez.
that
Want
one.
a cigarette? Ricky Fowler says, love the format. Well done, my friend. Grant says, it sounds very muddled. Well, then get the mud out of your ear, you idiot.
Grant,
that's
he
Grant.
didn't mean that. He didn't mean that, Grant. He loves you.
I said, you're very muddled, is what I said in the comments. Patrick LeBeau, he has a good ear. He says Charlie's audio is off compared to the other guides or you. Yes, that's true. Charlie's microphone was clipped up here under his collar because it was a little windy, and I didn't have my special dead cat windscreen that would have minimized the wind, so I had to put it up under his collar to use that as a windscreen. I'm sorry, not up under, into like. So he had a button-down shirt, and I had the microphone inside the shirt, And so it is a little muddled because it's picking up his voice from his chest and throat, not from his mouth. But that's a good ear, Patrick. Good ear. I said to the patrons, I said, you're going to get this early because you're my patrons and I love you. But also, I'm what they call ear blind to it. I've been listening to it for too long. I can't tell what's
weird,
too loud, too quiet, whatever. So, okay, go ahead. What else you got?
For those who follow the historic Cashtown Inn or have been there or love it, they are putting out, they just put out their menu and events for the week of July 1st through 8th. So if you're going to be in town.
We ate there.
We did eat there.
And it was good.
It was good.
It is good.
It is.
It's very good. So they have their hometown menu on Monday, July 1st through Wednesday the 3rd from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. They're closed, of course, on Thursday. They have fine dining on Friday the 5th and Saturday the 6th from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. They also have the 2nd Maryland Fifes and Drums. That's Friday the 5th from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m., Saturday the 6th from 6:30 to 11 p.m. Bring your lawn chairs. Sandwiches will be served on the porch. BYOB. Sounds like a pretty cool event out there. And then they have breakfast on Sunday, July 8th. From 9 to 12, that's what we went for. It was fantastic. Try the maple sausage.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
It's from a local.
What was the name of the butcher that makes that? Which begins with a B.
It's right up the street from there. Bookers?
Is it Bookers?
It's right up the road from Cashtown Inn. And they happen to be sitting at the table next to us.
Yeah. That was weird.
Ironic.
We were like raving about the sausage.
And they were like, hey, we made this.
They're like, oh, yeah, that's those people over there. We're like, no kidding.
Yeah.
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 All right.
So there's that. Do you have...
The officers for the Union, ladies for the Union, will be doing Civil War living history at the Children's Museum on July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. all 3 days. So come check that out, as well as the Danza Antiqua will be doing...
the what?
Danza Antiqua will be doing...
Tony Danza relics and memorabilia?
No. They'll be doing... fiber art demonstrations inside
Jonathan
the museum.
fell down the stairs. Angela.
The outside living history is free and open to the public. You can just come up and talk to them.
Sorry.
If you want to go do the fiber arts, you do pay the price of admission.
Angela.
Go ahead.
Has anybody seen the Nutmobile?
Mona. The Nutmobile. Yeah, I saw it a couple of years ago.
Well, did you see it today at
Quaker
all?
Nuts?
I didn't see it
was at ABC today from 3 to 7. It's also there tomorrow from 3 to 7, so you can stop by for that. I'm just excited. My grandmother retired from there. Planners was founded in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Not sure if you knew that.
Straight.
That's where I'm from.
All things happen in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, they sure do. And then also, finally, last but certainly not least, Matthew Callery ventured on this road of addressing Gettysburg 6 years ago tomorrow.
Hey!
Did I?
Yes, you did. On June 28th.
How do you know that?
From your Facebook posts when Veronica congratulated you for 5 years last year on June 28th.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was actually March of 2018 when we started with Instagram. And I converted the Facebook channel over to Addressing Gettysburg podcast as opposed to Addressing Gettysburg film. And it was June 6th, 2019 when our first episode came out.
Congratulations.
Take the compliment.
What's
good night, nurse?
Thank you.
You see the look Cindy's giving you at the moment? Are you paying attention?
I don't know.
All right, and that's the show.
What's the 28th?
I don't know. And you said, hey, thanks. So you responded last year. I put it on the calendar podcast 6th anniversary. There you go. Congratulations.
Well, now it's officially the 6th anniversary.
Yeah.
Apparently it already happened. So congrats.
Pretty much F off there.
Maybe
Good job.
Was she talking about was she talking about when we started doing AG Today?
Matt, I have no idea.
I'm confused. I would just like to know what I did.
And let's just rewind. Forget that was said, and we'll just move on.
There's no need for you to be upset.
7 o'clock on the dot.
Oh, great!
And we are done.
I want to know.
Good show today, guys. Good show.
No, I mean, thank you for pointing it out. I just want to know what the anniversary was.
I don't know.
I'm not asking you. I'm asking Veronica, and I'm asking myself from last year. What did I say thank you about? Very confused.
She posted a past post where it was about the anniversary. It said, if my calculations are correct, today's the 5th anniversary. And it
was on June 20th.
Well, that's what I put on the calendar, so I have to believe yes, because I wouldn't have just taken a random date. But, we can look later. But congrats to you.
Thank you. Thank you, my love.
You're welcome.
I am so sorry. I didn't mean to ruin your kind gesture. I just was very confused.
This is like every married couple in the history of married couples.
Pretty much.
What? That's not our anniversary. That's not the day we went out first. Don't you remember Cousin Carl came over and we went out then? Yeah.
It's true. It's very true. Well, listen, I have to get back to work. I have a lot of stuff to do, and I'm slap happy. It was great to do the show. I almost wasn't going to do the show, but then I realized we're not going to be here next week because it's the 4th of July. And what was the other thing?
Little Round Top opened.
Little Round Top opened, and I wanted to talk about that. And
you wanted to see our beautiful faces.
I wanted to see your well, yeah. I mean, I wanted to be with people and talk because I've been sequestered for 2 days, and
you were very slap happy when I got here.
Yeah, it was great to be around a human being, and that is wonderful. And you do the show, and also I did not want to be away from the audience for 2 weeks because I like the audience except for Grant. And I like to, Grant. Oh, poor Grant.
Grant, you're so adorable.
Grant, he's so adorable. Oh, look at Grant.
I love you, Grant.
Oh, she loves Grant. Everybody's great because Grant. Anyway, I didn't want to be away from the audience because, I do enjoy their jokes and their company, and I like to be in touch with them. So that is it for us here, ladies and germs, because you know why? I'm hungry and I got to work. So thank you very much for everything. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Bethany. Thank you, Debbie back there. I almost called you Cindy. And Eric and Elizabeth for coming by. Thank you all for watching. And it wasn't that short of a show anyway, but whatever. We'll talk to you later.
Whose fault was that?
Mine.
The theme is written and performed by Colin Southfield and the Mushroom Country Band. Bumper music is arranged and performed by Billy Webster and sometimes Kevin McLeod. AG Today is produced by Matt Cowery, Bethany Yingling, Debbie Jones, and Cindy Compton. Engineered by Colby Sumner and maybe sometimes someone else. Guest accommodations are provided by the guests themselves. We'll need a couple thousand patrons to be able to put people up in hotels. Speaking of patrons, maybe you'd like to become one. You'll find plenty of perks over there, not to mention hundreds of episodes that will help you further your Gettysburg and Civil War education. So go to patreon.com/Addressing Gettysburg. I'm Huevos Grande, the voice of Addressing Gettysburg. Thanks for listening.
This concludes our broadcast day.
Oh,